and welcome back to Football Made Simple. We're back with an in-game analysis of the crucial La Liga encounter between Setien's Barca and Simeone's Atleti. Barca desperately needed the win to stay close to Real, but in the end, the match ended 2-2 thanks to goals by Messi and Acosta own goal, as well as 2 penalties by Saul, and the XG was relatively close as well. But what tactics did Setien and Simeone opt for? Let's take a look. A quick reminder of the formations. On paper, Barca used this 4-3-3, although they rarely looked like this on the ground, instead forming a diamond. Atleti, on the other hand, stuck to their trusted 4-4-2 that looked like this. Now, let's look at how the home team Barca looked to attack, as they dominated the ball. When Barca had the ball building up deep, Atleti often didn't look to press high up. Instead, they stayed deeper using a 4-4-2 mid-block. As Atleti had 2 forwards who could tie up the centre-backs when building up, Barca played with a makeshift back 3 for most of the match, with Rakitic dropping into the left centre-back zone and Roberto later on, and this would give them a 3 versus 2 in this phase. This would also allow Alba and Semedo to push much higher comfortably. And not wanting to be outnumbered in midfield, Puig and Vidal would often drop deeper in the midfield to create a 3 versus 2 in this zone to help Barcelona when they wanted to play through the centre of the pitch, often aided by Messi also coming in more centrally. And of course, Atleti had to protect the centre of the pitch, meaning that their wingers on paper were often in the centre of the pitch defending, which gave Barca's fullbacks even more space. These tucked-in wingers were necessary, as one man often moved high on Busquets, and if they weren't there, Atleti would have been badly outnumbered here. However, Barca looked to create space on the left, often with a man moving into the half space, either Suarez or Puig, whilst Alba pushed high. And as a result, Correa was often deep tracking Alba as an auxiliary right back, as Arias was drawn more central. Llorente then had to decide to either stay high on Rakitic or deep in the half space, meaning that one of these 2 Barcelona men would be free to receive the ball. However, the right was Barcelona's dominant attacking side. They often looked to achieve numerical superiority in this area. Semedo would push high, whilst one of Messi and Vidal stayed deeper in this region, as shown by the average positioning. This would often draw the winger and the fullback wide, and Puig, as a roaming midfielder, would often look to make this darting run into the right half space time and again, and if he had received the ball in these slots more often, he could have created more danger. But this also had the function of dragging across the Atleti team, which freed Alba and Rakitic to move higher and look to switch the play and attack from here. But again, Barca spent a lot of the match trying to penetrate a very crowded zone 14, meaning that chances were hard to come by, and as a result, they didn't score from open play. Their high fullbacks also meant that time and again, Costa and Llorente would look to counter behind Barca, and they got into dangerous situations in this manner. But how did Atleti attack when they had more time? From deep, if Barca looked to press All Black high, he was comfortable going long, looking for Costa to hold it up or flick it on to his fellow forward, although they didn't always manage to hold on to the ball in this way. But Atleti's main danger, besides on the break, came from breaking behind Alba and Semedo. When Barca pressed, it was the 2 forwards on the 2 centre-backs, and Puig was on the ball side defensive midfielder. And of course, as Barca had no wingers, if Atleti worked it wide to the fullback or the winger, it often meant that Barca's fullbacks had to move high to help make the press effective. However, this always left room for the winger or the forward of Atleti to run into this space, which happened over and over again on the left and on the right. This is what leads to the equalizing penalty, as Semedo is pressing high and Carrasco gets on the wrong side of Piqué, and eventually he is brought down. It should be noted, higher up the pitch, again Atleti looked to tuck their wingers in to help them play narrowly. But one of their 2 forwards could tuck into the half space whilst the other pushed higher up, which made the Barca fullback tuck in. Atleti's own fullback could then be released to cross into the box, where the wingers then made runs to overload it. Lerdi in particular was prolific with his crossing and provided great deliveries. Barca too looked to counter behind the Atleti fullbacks, however, the lack of pace in the front two meant that they often couldn't take full advantage. In the end, it was an intriguing tactical encounter. Of course, not every single element of the tactics could be covered, so I'd love it if you commented down below with what else you noticed tactically. What did you make of Setien and Simeone? Let me know down below. But that's all for today, and remember, keep it simple.